Let's go to this story now with Visa having announced the opening of its first data center in Africa based in South Africa, right here in Johannesburg. The move forms part of a R1 billion investment aimed at strengthening local digital payment infrastructure. For this conversation, we're joined by Nono Malefane, who's the Senior Director of Government Affairs at Visa Sub-Saharan Africa. Very good evening, Nono, and thanks for your time on the Power Business.
Good evening, Tehillah, and to the Power FM listeners.
Why has Visa chosen South Africa, Johannesburg, as the location for its first data center on the African continent?
Visa has chosen South Africa as the location for our very first data center in Africa because South Africa is a very important market to us, one where we have been present for over 30 years. So that's more than 3 decades that we've been in South Africa. We've had long-standing partnerships with our clients over those decades, and it really made sense for us to bring on soil this infrastructure that is world-class to the South African economy to power our clients and the broader South African individuals, the government, businesses, and other stakeholders that we serve.
Where were the data centers previously that Visa was relying on to process payments in South Africa and on the continent?
Until now, Visa has been processing transactions via our VisaNet global data centers. We've got a number of them across the world, in the USA, in Singapore, in the United Kingdom. And as I say, this is the first one that we've built in Africa. We support to more than 200 markets out of our global VisaNet data centers. And in Africa, we've built this very first data center located in South Africa.
All right, cool. So what does this R1 billion investment over the next 3 years entail? How will it look?
Part of the investment is, of course, in this local infrastructure to process transactions locally. So that means that the transactions won't be going offshore to be processed anymore. They will all be processed right here on South African soil. We are also investing in our partnerships with our clients. Our clients are the big banks. We have partners in the telecommunications sector. We have partners who are fintechs. But importantly, we're also partnering with other stakeholders where we bring financial literacy programs. So through various programs that Visa brings into the market, we are investing in women-owned businesses through our She's Next program, which we launched 2 years ago, and we have currently a 3-year partnership with one of the big banks to fund women-owned businesses. We provide mentorship, empowering these women also with networking platforms and ensuring that they can grow their businesses. Visa also supports fintechs. We have the Fintech Accelerator program where we have a number of startup fintechs who become part of the Visa network, and through the Fintech Accelerator program, we support these fintech businesses. We also provide financial literacy programs, and in partnership with stakeholders across the market, we've reached over 100,000 consumers through financial literacy programs like our Practical Business Skills program.
So for Visa clients in South Africa, will they experience any changes in the way that their payments are processed once the data center is up and running? Will it be faster? Will it be a smoother process?
We've brought our core infrastructure on soil, meaning that authorization of transactions will happen faster, almost at real time. It also means that we're able to monitor transactions. We can monitor the fraud risk on transactions. So we have risk management solutions. And so having this infrastructure on soil really brings VisaNet world-class capabilities right here in South Africa.
All right. Data centers, of course, use vast amounts of electricity. And the big question is, of course, with South Africa having some constraints around the national grid, although load shedding at the moment is on hold, how do you plan to deal with that?
Of course, that's been an issue for some time now, and we are working with other stakeholders in the industry because, of course, we don't work alone. We're working with other partners and stakeholders in the industry to ensure that there is resilience, should any incident surrounding an energy crisis or shortage occur.
Globally, there's concern about the amount of water that data centers are using, particularly in water-scarce environments. And Johannesburg doesn't have its own water source per se. We rely on other water sources. How do you respond to those kinds of concerns?
Yes, of course, there are concerns like that. And as a business, we have to ensure that we are responsible and that we look after the environment, and where there are scarce resources, that we ensure that they are not wasted. Yes, you are correct. Data centers do require water and, various other elements to ensure cooling of the data centers. Otherwise, they would not be able to function optimally.
Now let's look at digital payments, because of course that sector is growing rapidly, not just through the major payment processors. There's all various other startups that are also sharing in that space. What kind of trends are you observing in South Africa specifically?
I think the payments landscape has transformed significantly over the decades. We've seen, people and businesses going from transacting in cash to cards. We've seen people moving from having to go into physical bank branches to now transacting digitally. So in South Africa, we're seeing a lot of growth in e-commerce. We're seeing growth in contactless payments. Currently, there are more than 60% of payments are done through contactless methods.
Wow.
That means that people are really embracing digital technology. We're seeing more and more, like I said, e-com transactions. And we want to ensure that we bring the latest innovations that we see as a global company across the world. We're bringing these to South Africa to benefit our consumers, businesses, and all other clients and partners that we have.
South Africa's digital payment infrastructure is quite advanced, as you mentioned. What are some of the innovations that you would want to bring to the market?
We're living in the time and generation of artificial intelligence, and I think since COVID, digital payments technology has really leapfrogged in ways that we couldn't have imagined even a decade ago.
Absolutely,
so
yes.
Where now you find that you can use tap to phone to pay for your goods and services. You can have small businesses accepting payments using their Android phones. So a mobile phone can actually be used as a point-of-sale device, which really reduces and brings down the cost of acceptance for small and medium enterprises, where we know that there's a real need for formalization and financial inclusion, because a lot of these SMEs, particularly in South Africa, and I guess broadly in Africa, have been left out. So solutions like low-cost acceptance through mobile devices, where an entrepreneur doesn't have to spend, a significant amount of money on a traditional point-of-sale device. I'm not saying that traditional point-of-sale devices would be replaced. No, there's still definitely a need for those, but definitely also a need for low-cost acceptance to support and enable small and micro merchants to also be able to accept digital payments.
Interesting. And I have actually tapped on a few people's phones in the last couple years. A couple of weeks back, we spoke to the platform that sells and trades cryptocurrency, and they're seeing an increase in the number of South Africans paying with cryptocurrency. This is a competition, of course, for the major platforms like Visa. Are you concerned that South Africans will start to do more transactions through cryptocurrencies?
I wouldn't say that we are concerned. I think, again, we embrace that there's change in digital payments. People are paying in various different ways. There are digital wallets. There's mobile money. You find some markets where there's really a higher prevalence of mobile money. There's card payments. There's also the growth of real-time payments through platforms like, PayShop in South Africa, which is our real-time payments system. So I think that we really operate in an economy where various forms of payment and various payment streams will coexist. And all different payment streams will continue to grow. But also as Visa, we've partnered with various other providers and partners in the market, where we have now enabled things like virtual cards for mobile money payments. So we find partnerships in various ways because we're not just a card business, we really are a payments processing network.
Interesting that. And then just a final question. Of course, cybersecurity concerns growing. How does Visa plan to keep the data center safe in Johannesburg?
Cybersecurity has been, a big topic globally over the years, and we see cases of, cyber incidents rising, in many countries across different platforms. At Visa, we invest a significant amount of money annually in our systems, in our VisaNet data centers to ensure that there is cybersecurity and that our transactions are safe and secure. And so that safety that you find at Visa across the globe is exactly what you will experience in South Africa. So for us, cybersecurity, fraud detection and prevention is really key and at the heart of what we do.
All right. Thanks very much. That's Nono Malefane, who's the Senior Director of Government Affairs at Visa Sub-Saharan Africa.